presentation a few weeks ago of the National Radio Award, instituted by the Daily Mail last year in memory of Tommy Handley, brought practically every well-known radio character to Grosvenor House, where they were received by Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Fuller. Radio faces aren't always as familiar as radio voices, but I expect you can recognize Mabel Constanduros, Norman Long, one of the pioneers of radio. There's someone you can't miss, Wilfred Pickles, with his wife Mabel preceding him. Now Jean de Cassilis, Mr. and Mrs. Kenneth Horne, Peggy Cochrane and Jack Payne, and 20 questions and Nona Wynne. A dinner followed the presentations, and as the guests sit at table, we can introduce you to other favourites. First, Donald Pearce. Yes, Vera Lynn, Ronald Franco, Joy Nichols, Jimmy Edwards, of course, Another Moustache, Sam Costa, Ben Lyon, but where's Bibi? Oh yes, there she is. Ted Kavanagh, the famous scriptwriter of Itmar. And Colonel Chinstrap, alias Jack Train, star of Itmar, and second only to Tommy Handley himself in that most famous of all British radio shows. Many of the famous characters of Tommy's Itmar were then brought before the microphone for a few words with the compere. First, Fred Hughes.
That's a lovely grub as well. George Gorge, that's me.
You're on the air a lot, but a little ray of sunshine at last.
Yes, it's being so cheerful as keeps me going.
That, of course, was Joan Harbin, known a lot.
What's embarrassing and complimentary?
Merely an appreciative phrase.
Well, fancy that.
So there, Will. Ta-ra, and hail to Diana Morrison, the redoubtable Miss Hotchkiss.
Oh!
Just a minute, Hotch, you've forgotten something. Molly Weir. Hattie McIntosh, isn't it?
Ach, you're daft.
And here's Jean Capra. You were Poppy Poupar, weren't you? The quintessency of coquetry.
What is a coquette?
You should know. You were naive as well.
I still am.
I didn't know that. And here comes someone who looks very worried and looks like Sidney Keith. What's the matter, Sid?
Oh, boss, something terrible's happened.
That's what you always used to say to Tommy, isn't it?
That's right, John. He was a great guy,
He certainly was.
Can I do your nails, sir?
Dear old Mrs. Mott, Dorothy Summers. Don't go without your typical farewell, Dorothy.
No, I won't, sir. TTFN.
Then came the presentations of the silver microphones. The first award went to Gladys Young, voted the most popular actress on the air.
I want to say two very big thank yous to the Daily Mail for this wonderful party and for sponsoring this award, and to you, the listeners, whose servants we are, for honouring us by your choice.
James McKechnie, receiving his award as the most popular actor, paid a most graceful tribute to his runner-up.
Well, friends, listeners, of course I'm practically speechless, but I must say that I'm deeply honoured to receive this award, this tangible indication of your pleasure in my work. So thank you, listeners, one and all. There's one thing before I stop. I'd like to say that this was won by a very short head from a colleague of mine and a great friend, Mr. Laidman Brown.
Then the owners of the most popular voices of radio drama pose for the camera together. Presently, across the Atlantic came the voice of the most popular commentator, Stuart McPherson.
My departure was rather hurried and typical scatterbrain fashion, and I probably missed the opportunity of saying thank you in person to a lot of people I should have said thank you to. But I think this is a good opportunity to use radio for what I can't help thinking it was originally invented for, covering space. I am indeed very grateful to you all, and needless to say, at this very moment, I will be thinking of you as I've never thought of anything or anybody in my life.
Richard Dimbleby accepted the mic on Stuart's behalf from Ted Kavanagh.
Here you are, Dick. There must have been many occasions when you would have liked to have thrown something at Stuart, but don't throw this. Send it to him, registered.
Thank you, Ted. And, ladies and gentlemen, if I may say something within the prescribed 20 seconds, to you at home as well as you here, in just expressing the honour and the pleasure that I feel in accepting this, so ably won by a very great personal friend of mine, I'm delighted to be able to take it for him.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. For my first group of songs tonight,
Oh,
I should...
Dick.
What?
We're not here to sing. You're not here to sing.
We're not?
No.
Isn't this the East Finchley Working Man's Institute Club and Social Night?
No, Bentley, we go on there afterwards.
Oh.
This carve-up, this is the one we do for nothing.
Oh, okay.
Hey! Don't go away, Dick. Listen.
What is it, Joy?
We gotta wait for the silver microphone that Ted Kavanagh's gonna present to us.
Ted Kavanagh? Oh, I've always wanted to meet him. I've loved the way he does all those different voices and things, you know.
Oh, no, Jimmy, that's the other Kavanagh. Kavanagh Connor. But, Joy, isn't there some sort of ceremony about receiving this award? I mean, there must be some sort of a thing. Now, what is there about receiving... Now, for instance, what do you do when a strange man gives you a present?
Well, naturally, I say thank you.
Well, we really ought to take this thing seriously. After all, today, instead of taking the Mickey, we're taking the microphone. That was an award one, was it not? Yes, it was.
Well, okay, now, we'll group ourselves. Joy, you stand over there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll stand over here.
Where shall I go?
Come on, Jim Edwards. Old Grunt, he's keeping open late, especially for you.
Is he?
He's giving some nice prizes for silver microphones.
No, Wallace, this is one thing that's not going back to the buildings, and I think I can safely say we're going to treasure this award very much. And who better to receive it on our behalf than the man who has been the captain of our team since the show first started, and incidentally, the man who brought the three of us together as a team, our producer, Charles Maxwell.
And so Charles Maxwell, producer of Take It From Here, comes on to receive the mic.
Radio show of the year. Well, thank you, Ted, and thank you, listeners, for...
Our film ends with a happy proposition by Frank Owen, editor of the Daily Mail.
And those of us on our side, and sing Auld Lang Syne.
And in this fitting manner, the first presentation of the National Radio Award came to an end.